if the first verses of Hebrews 12 exhort us to be active in the race and to run looking on to Jesus, the next chunk of the passage tells us that in order to do so, we have to exercise a measure of discipline. In your struggle against sin, you've not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood, he says. And you have forgotten that word of encouragement that addresses you as sons. My son, quoting from the book of Proverbs, do not make light the Lord's discipline. Training, giving yourself to exercise for the purpose of godliness is part of what's required of us as disciples, that we should be disciplined and self-disciplined. Part of the fruit of the Spirit, part of the character of every follower of Christ is that we must be self-disciplined. But here it also talks about the discipline of the Lord that he puts us through, the circumstances and the situations, some of them awkward and challenging, where we have to make courageous decisions in order to stand our ground and be counted as Christians who have convictions about right and wrong, about truth and error, about what is God's way and what is the way of the world. Christian faith and Christian life is not always popular. And today there are many aspects of Christian faith that are very unpopular with many people in our society. And to maintain our convictions about Christ, about holiness, about eternity, about the church, about sexuality and gender, about our identity as men and women. These things will require us to be courageous at times. And verse 7 says, endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as sons. We're children of God. And when he begets us, he wants to raise us up so that we may be like his son, that we may be men and women of conviction and courage. And if we're not being disciplined by God in this kind of way, then we're not his children, it says. If you are not disciplined, then you are illegitimate children and not true sons. And then there's a reflection again that maybe isn't universally popular today, that human fathers disciplined us for our good, for our welfare, so that we would learn to make right choices. But God disciplines us for the purpose of his holiness, that we should become holy. Now, the writer to the Hebrews is very honest. He says, no, discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. But later on, it yields the fruit. It produces the character. It enables us to become what we're supposed to be, sons and daughters of the living God, taking on his character, not faithless, not immoral, not unreliable and untrue, but honest, godly people. And therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that you, the lame, may not be disabled, but rather healed. Come on, let's keep going. Let's endure hardship. Let's be disciplined and let it produce in us the holiness that God is looking for.